When they saw us coming, the guards standing behind the man stuck their hands into their pockets and stepped forward. Who are you? Wayne told us to come here. Wayne's kids. Is this girl named Rapunzel? Yes, my name is Rapunzel. It's a pleasure to meet you. This is Richard Mayugi. The family is consigliere. The head planning officer of the family, who advises the madam. He's as important as the grand boss. I merely handle the bookkeeping. I'm hardly important in myself. If something were that important, it would be the contents of the safe that I guard. But let's not talk about talk while standing. Enter. Cyrus just brought in a pot of tea. His tea is delicious, even when it cools. You all should have some too. The grand boss really is obsessed with tea, isn't he? His tea is supposed to be a treat only tasted by a few of his most powerful bosses. This is truly an honor. Sure, it's just tea, dude. I wonder if they'll have snacks too. I'm starving already. Weren't you just eating? Weren't you eating just a second ago? Sheesh. We'd been invited into the Mayugi offices. Then, while drinking some tea that was supposedly the Grand Boss Saimura's original blend, I was asked to sign several English documents. And your soul is ours now. Thank you. Rose told me about you. I hear you've lost your memory. That's right. There's no point worrying too much about it, so I'd like to start by looking forward. Excellent. The young truly are magnificent. Rose told me to provide you with living expenses for the time being. On paper, you'll be considered as working at one of Primavera's establishments and receiving a salary for your services. Despite having heard that, being told to sign a bunch of papers in a language I couldn't read was terrifying to me on the inside. Yeah, because it could literally say anything. What if I'm signing something that gives them permission to take out my organs while I'm still alive? There once was a man who said the exact same thing. Though that man left Japan after building a legend in the span of a single night. Wait, you don't mean... Indeed, I'm speaking of Leo. He said the same thing when asked to sign the same papers. Whoa, if you said the same thing as that legend, you must be a force to be reckoned with yourself. How surprising. So the legendary Leo Shishigami couldn't read English. His English was truly horrendous. I am a pen, as far as he ever got. Their conversation was so amicable that my fear of these papers began to fade. Ah, to hell with it. I don't remember it, but I escaped from slavers once already. If these guys are slavers too, I just need to run away again. Thank you. I also have a message for Rapunzel from Rose. She wants to know if you'd be interested in sharing a meal with her on Sunday. A meal with Madame Rose, you say? Whoa. I wonder what they'll be serving. Whole roast calf? Or a Manchu Han Imperial feast? Dumbass, she only invited Zell, not us. Madame Rose is a busy person. She must have set aside some of her precious time for you. I've already been given a bed and living expenses thanks to her kindness. There's probably no reason to refuse. And anyway, I'm just starting to figure out who these people are. I'll ask her straight up about what Primavera is all about. Yeah, who cares? It's fun. The Dawn Shopping District, that's what was written on the recently built billboard arch. It was a pleasant and flourishing shopping district lined with several newly built shops. I was also very surprised to see that the line of shops were all run by Japanese people. These days, the shops in Tokyo were always run by Americans or Chinese people. Japanese shops were supposedly in the process of being driven out of business. In modern Tokyo, it was extremely rare to see a whole shopping district filled with only Japanese shops. Thanks, Rose. D23 really is wonderful, isn't it? It is now. Just a year ago, the city was being run by this nasty guy called Caleb. It was? It was a terrible time. City 23 was on the point of destruction for a while. But thanks to Madame Rose, the city's been revived. To think that the city got it this lively in just 1 year. I still can't believe it. So these days, City 23 is getting rebuilt with all the vigor of a sunrise. Just like the name of the shopping district. I think I understand. I can feel enormous fortune about this place. I could tell by the people's faces, the city was hope. Has hope. However, according to them, just a single year ago, the city was run to waste and nearly all the shops disappeared. Amazing how that works. Apparently, Madame Rose was the one who had rebuilt from all of that. That sweet-looking woman, who didn't seem that much older than me, had achieved such an incredible accomplishment. I was surprised to see her in charge of such a magnificent club. But this was even more surprising. Just what sort of city is City 23? And who in the world is Madame Rose? Zell, how about this store? It looks pretty nice. Shall we have a peek? We found a shop selling curtains. Our old curtains were so bad that no amount of washing could have helped, so we threw them away. Without curtains, a room doesn't have a sharp divide between day and night. Being able to clearly separate your daytime and nighttime lives is an essential part of raising your fortune. After all, isn't that right? Do you really think fortune will come to people who let day and night toss them about, without trying to create any sort of schedule? I get it. So that's why something always seemed a bit off about our lifestyle until now. Though it seems a bit dubious that a few curtains can really turn your fortune around. It's the sum of the parts. It does, doesn't it? Then why don't you let yourself get tricked one more time, like when we clean the rooms? You'll see how wonderful it is to open the curtains and be bathed in morning sunlight. It does sound intriguing. I wish I could be like that. I want to get some awesome curtains. Oliver, if you don't pick up some curtains you like, Zell and I'll just end up choosing for you. You wouldn't want some cute curtains with flowers on them, would you? Oh no. I wouldn't mind you picking out stuff for me. This has ceased to be amusing. I will pick two. Apparently they had never thought of spicing up their lifestyle by customizing it to fit their own personal theme. It was only natural. So far, the goal of their lifestyle has been to survive until the next day, and only barely. But it's different now, and they have me now. If they accepted me as a friend, it's because they want to find some sort of happiness by having me here. That's what I think. We visited several other stores, buying lots of stuff to decorate our lives. I was truly grateful to Madame Rose for giving me enough money to buy all of these things. Thanks, Madame Rose. Chattering. Who would have believed the city could spring back so far? You left the city just about 1 year ago, didn't you? That's right. Caleb had chewed the city to bits, and I was sure it was done for. What do you think now? Don't you think it's becoming one of the few Japanese cities in Tokyo? I came back ready to be scammed, but just look at how much it's changed. It's like I'm dreaming. It's all thanks to Primavera. Can you believe it? The ladies of the evening we despise for making dough by sucking up to those American troops are the ones who saved the city. Yeah, it's amazing that some females can actually do something. Like guys can't do everything. Go figure. Wow. They heard bits of conversation like this from the people they passed. It looks like the city was really on the point of destruction a year ago. And Madame Rose of Club Primavera saved it. What on earth did Madame Rose do? How did she revive the city when bad people almost destroyed it once? Madame Rose took it upon herself to solve several problems in order to save her Japanese countrymen. I mean, he's not wrong. And the biggest one was raising wages for laborers. It just happened all of a sudden one day. Places where you'd normally be happy to get $200 for a day of work were suddenly offering $400. Laborers aren't fools. When jobs with high wages appear, that's where they'll go. Yeah, duh. In other words, you can't employ people anymore at cheap wages they used to have. Hey, yeah, I mean, the whole fucking rising tides and shit. After forming the Primavera family, Madame Rose established even stronger connections with the occupying forces. Through Butler, she'd even gained a friendly relationship with City 23 Director General. Another friendly relationship with Don McDowell became a huge weapon as well. Mamro succeeded in quickly obtaining the special offers windows involved with a large portion of City 23's public works projects. Even though we're going to run out of money soon, so you know it's whatever. The special offers window was truly an aristocratic privilege, a means of snatching up large sums of money by simply passing jobs on to lower-ranking parties. Hordes of corrupt politicians and depraved bureaucrats, members of the criminal underworld had used this to suck up piles of cash. Oh, that is a horrible use of commas. Fuck. By shifting responsibility in this way, the end result was suffering for our Japanese countrymen laborers in the form of low wages. In other words, if the holder of the special offers window didn't exploit it, the budget for the projects would be fully reflected in the low-level laborers' wages. As a result, they succeeded in creating a utopia where laborers had double their previous wages. This became a powerful camphor in restoring City 23 after the Kale family devastated the foundations for living in the city. Rumors spread, and the people who had left City 23 returned one after another. I mean, if the money goes away, we have to, establish means of getting money into the city. Because that's, the biggest thing, right? We need an inflow of cash into an area. That's how, it's the money circulation and all that. So, if we can't keep the money circulating, we're fucked. So we have to have enough in circulation to keep having more, because money gets destroyed, money gets sold out of other cities and shit. So during this time, it's everything's nice and dandy. We need to form trade relations or just some way that we can get money into the area. Where money gathers, people gather. Where people gather, shops gather, and vigor gathers. And so in a mere year, the city succeeded in regaining the bustle it lost, and maybe even more besides. As a result, City 23's exploitative wage system was destroyed. This meant that the advantages of the City 23 special offers window disappeared and its value plummeted. When the holders of the other special offers windows could no longer bear this, Madame Rose made contact with them through Dawn McDowell. She bought up special offers windows one after another, and in the end she was able to gain possession of the majority. Of course, this also resulted in the transfer of a full 100 million Japanese dollars. However, by now, Primavera had used its solidarity with the occupying forces to gain influence and access to a large amount of credit. The wealth they possessed was on an entirely different level. Influence and wealth. Of course, the force they wielded as the mafia known as the Primavera family was not to be forgotten. The final power they used to protect their countrymen was the courage to shed their own blood without fear. Caleb's elite troops from the front line, starting with Maurice Monobe, went on to become Primavera's elites. I don't feel comfortable with that. Thanks to Cyrus Saimura, a man with years of experience putting ruffians into line, these men formed a united front. God, Rose. The three powers Caleb had once spoken of: influence, wealth, and force. By gaining these three, Rose had created a utopia in the city. This utopia was causing a definite influence on other cities too. Once they heard about high-wage jobs, laborers would no longer settle for heavy labor for low wages. It was said that laborers in other cities were starting to raise their voices, demanding treatment similar to City 23. This would prove to be inconvenient for the special offers windows holders in other cities. The journey to reach Madame Rose's ideals was still going to be long and hard. However, it was impossible to see that amidst the bustle of this day, Madame Rose really is an incredible person. I thought of her in a friendly way, like she was someone I could probably get along with. But what an amazing person she is. I get the feeling my legs will tremble the next time I meet her. Chinatown. For an afternoon snack, we decided to go to Chinatown to try pork buns Charles had recommended. I'm just gonna call them pork buns. Fuck me, it's so much easier. The vast rush of traffic and noise was no different from Chinatown in any city. Apparently, even though I had no memory, I remembered this. Compared to the prosperity of the Chinatowns, American cities were nowhere near as lively. I guess the fact that Asian people can't visually blend into a city of Westerners was a big factor for this. The wall of language is big too. Both the Japanese and Chinese use Chinese characters in their words, so it was just barely possible to come to a mutual understanding. However, you'd have no luck with English unless you learn the language. Because of that, the American cities felt a bit more desolate than the Chinatowns. They did make some effort to attract Japanese customers, but apparently nowhere near as much as these Chinese shopkeepers. In any event, the fact that the Japanese customers might be Japanese or Chinese as long as they kept their mouth shut was important. Even in this crowd, it's unlikely that everyone here is Chinese. In fact, half the customers might be Japanese. Both the Japanese and the Chinese still had ill feelings toward remaining from the war. Yeah, I wonder why. However, as long as they kept those to themselves, nothing bad would happen. And that sort of tolerance was certainly present here. The writing on the fronts of the buildings were mostly Chinese, but you could see a lot of Japanese as well. These robust Chinese shopkeepers didn't seem to show any prejudice against Japanese customers as long as they had money. Hell yeah. City 23's Chinatown also seems to be bustling with activity. That's because City 23 itself is in the middle of a boom. Chinese shopkeepers are good at business, so they've been making a killing. All the cheap, delicious stuff is in Chinatown. Yeah, just smelling it makes my stomach rumble. Oh yeah, if we spend the money that we get through like Japanese money into like Chinese businesses, at least the way the system seems to be, that money will get funneled into Chinatown and taken away from City 23, or at least the Japanese section. So even then we're fucked there. So we definitely need more cross traffic and more money coming into us. City management game now. That's just being a picky eater. Just try some and you'll get used to it. What about you, Zhao? Are you okay with this scent? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm getting hungry too. You got that right. That aroma of oils and ingredients used in Chinese food, which you could only find in Chinatown, gave the place an exotic atmosphere. Oh, whoa. Slip up there. What? That scent made me feel at home somehow. Before I lost my memory, I must have been familiar with Chinatown's culture. Surely I used to live in a city controlled by the Chinese military. I'm actually Chinese! But I speak perfect Japanese. Still, this part of China is totally Chinatown, isn't it? That street over there used to be our border with Chinatown. Now it's sticking out an entire block further. Hey, if you like build a fence over someone's property and you don't claim it or don't raise an objection eventually, that's just their property now. Looks like Chinatown's prospering too. That's part of it, but it's also true that this area was deserted. Because of the Kale family, people left their stores and turned this city into a bunch of empty buildings. Then the people here started buying them up one after another until Chinatown expanded. See a lot more Chinese people around the city these days, too. Have you been all able to get along well with them? For now. They don't think of us as anything more than maggots who lost the war. The feeling's mutual. We ourselves wish those damn immigrants would get out of Japan. Hell yeah, fuck those other people. Fights are always breaking out. Rude as it might have been, the two of them smiled boldly. It felt like a little more than students at a pair of nearby middle schools in different districts. I mean, it's pretty bold to say that next to Chinatown, but whatever. I think it's probably a good thing that we can't understand each other. If we understood each other too well, we'd be able to hear everything we're saying behind each other's backs. Ignorance can sometimes act as a breakwater. That might be true. If in the future some sort of automatic translation device were invented and we were able to understand each other's gossips, the result would probably be a mess. I'm an idiot. If some Chinese guy is talking bad about me, I won't even understand. That might be pretty important. The truth is, I'd had a strange feeling for a while now. The Chinese was somehow soaking into my ears. I knew it! What could it be? Why is Chinese so familiar to my ears? I focus on a man yelling in Chinese at the counter. Are you kidding me, bastard? Lower that price of yours a bit, will ya? If you don't like it, go home. I got plenty of customers beside you. What's wrong, Zell? I think I understand Chinese. Huh? That's awesome! Are you serious? Then can you speak it? Can you get them to lower the price of this these pork buns? Can you really speak it? Try saying something. I doubt she can like speak it. I'm sure she can only like understand it. No, okay, never mind. Chinese. More Chinese. Whoa! What was that? What was that? Cool. I'm surprised. What did you just say? I said, what a nice day. I'm hungry. Okay, so what's written over there? The next person who throws their trash here dies. What are these Chinese people saying? You said tobacco would make me a fortune. Give me my money back. Awesome! Even I was surprised. It wasn't as though I had a dictionary in my head. The feelings and meanings of the words just popped into my mind in the most natural way. Which would be what a native would do. Otherwise, you have to, like, think about it. I probably didn't learn Chinese by studying. I must have picked up Chinese naturally through my daily life. The three of them were astounded by my ability to speak another language, like it was some sort of superpower. But for me, it was as though the stone door to my lost memories was shaking, and I couldn't help but feel dizzy. A feeling of uneasiness that I couldn't describe was welling up inside my mind. She's 100% Chinese, though. Is it really okay for me to be here? Isn't there something I should be doing? I felt as though in some place I didn't know about. Sand was gradually trickling down an hourglass. Zell, over here! The pork buns! Here, he'll knock your socks off. Before I knew it, I'd been left behind in the crowd. The three of them were waving at me from a stand in front of me. I'd been spaced out and been left behind. The moment I tried to dash forward, I felt a clinging bad feeling and started looking all around me. A city I don't know, filled with people I don't know. Of course, no one would meet my gaze. Except someone did. Come on, Zell, hurry up. I'm starving here. What is it, Zell? You spaced out walking, stopped walking. Doesn't look like this isn't just some funny Chinese joke you overheard. Sorry, it's just my imagination. I forced a smile and went through with everyone to the pork bun stand. If I said I'd felt someone's eyes on me, they'd probably just look at me blankly. Even though we're in a bustling crowd of countless unrelated people passing by, whose names we don't know and whose faces we can't even see well. Who are you? From the darkness of an alley, a short girl appeared like a shadow. Her eyes were fixed on Zell as she stuffed her face with the pork buns with her friends. Huh. So I guess our next enemy is going to be a bunch of Chinese people. Good to know. Though I don't know who she is. I can't imagine she, like, is some boss or something. Though she had a tattoo of a dragon. So, if we want to take it, like, literally, with, what Lee would talk about with the dragon and all that, she could actually be, like, one of the, other color dragons in that society. Which would be pretty fucked, honestly. I don't want to get into a fight with them. Before noon on a certain Sunday, I was invited to brunch with Madame Rose. By then I was vaguely aware of what she represented, so I was incredibly tense. When I honestly told her how I felt, she giggled. Thanks, Rose. Even I was tense about this role of mine at first. More than once I nearly crushed it. I was nearly crushed by the role that comes along with the name Madame Rose. However, names and roles have the power to make people be reborn. This young shopkeeper, who was supposedly Madame Rose's friend, spoke as she carried in some food. There were several samples of Japanese creative cuisine, something you hardly ever see these days. For some reason, there seemed to be a lot of potatoes in it. I see, so the store is named Kuroimo, black potato, isn't just for show. As they say, names and natures do often agree, and the same thing goes in reverse. I think that when people are given names, they've been reborn to match that name. I understand, that makes total sense to me. Even I might be a different person to the one I was before I lost my memory. After being given the name Rapunzel, I was born as a new human. Maybe a name is the soul of a personality. Soul and personality. Well, it isn't as though anyone could do the job of Madame. Rose was always a girl who felt a strong sense of responsibility. A lot of people have praised Madame Rose's great achievements. They say you saved the city from the evil mafia and gave the people their way of life back. Yeah, Rose is the city's savior. Thank you, but my goals are still a long way from being reached. Now that we've lost our country, we Japanese are going to have to make it through a tough era. It's sad, but 100 years or so from now, I think Japan might have all the Japan taken out of it. We're in Japan right now, and yet it's harder to find soy sauce and miso than ketchup and mustard. In this age, Japanese-style food is relatively expensive.